Data isn't forever. Like anything alive, it's born, it's used, and eventually it should die. But here's the problem. Most companies are brilliant at collecting data and terrible at getting rid of it. And the biggest breaches often aren't stolen from active systems. They're old records nobody ever deleted. In this video, the data lifecycle. Every stage data passes through, from the moment it's created to the moment it's destroyed, and why managing that journey is a control. Welcome back. We've stored data in databases and moved it through enterprise systems. Now we follow a single piece of data through its entire life, cradle to grave. I'm Professor Lamptey. Here's the plan. What the data lifecycle is, its stages from creation to destruction, and the data governance that must wrap around every one of them, all followed through one customer record, Jane's data. Let's define it. Write this down. The data lifecycle is the full sequence of stages a piece of data moves through, from the moment it's created to the moment it's finally disposed of. Why treat data like it has a life? Because each stage carries different risks and needs different controls. You protect data being collected differently from data sitting in an archive. And wrapping around the entire cycle is data governance, the policies, the ownership, and the controls that keep data accurate, secure, and private at every step. Let's walk Jane's record through it. Here's the whole journey. 6 stages. 1. Definition. Decide what data you need and the standards for it. 2. Capture. Create or collect the data itself. 3. Storage and maintenance. Keep it safe, accurate, and available. 4. Usage and analytics. Process it, analyze it, turn it into value. 5. Archival. Move data you no longer actively use into long-term storage. And 6. Destruction. Securely delete it when it's no longer needed. Define, capture, store, use, archive, destroy. Notice the shape. It mirrors the privacy framework from earlier. Data has a beginning, a middle, and an end, with a rule at every step. The first 2 stages are the birth of the data. Definition comes before you collect anything. What fields do we actually need? In what format? To what standard? Then capture. The data is created or acquired. Jane fills out a form, makes a purchase, and her record is born. And here's the single most important principle, straight from our privacy video. Collect only what you need. Every extra field you capture about Jane is something you now have to protect, store, and eventually destroy. The cleanest data to secure is the data you never collected in the first place. Stage 3, and it's the longest, storage and maintenance. Now Jane's record lives in the database, and the job is to keep it accurate, secure, and available. That means keeping it up to date when she changes her address, protecting it with the access controls and encryption we've covered, and maintaining its quality. No duplicates, no errors. This is where data spends most of its life, so this is where most of the controls apply. Stale, inaccurate data is worse than no data, because people trust it and act on it. Stage 4 is why we collected the data at all. Usage and analytics. Here Jane's record, joined with thousands of others, gets processed, analyzed, and reported. It becomes a sales trend, a customer insight, a decision. This is the payoff stage, data finally creating value. But even here, control matters. Who's allowed to use the data, and for what purpose? Using Jane's data for something she never agreed to isn't an analytics win. It's a privacy violation. Value and responsibility travel together. The last 2 stages are the ones companies forget, and they matter most for risk. Archival. When Jane's data is no longer actively used but must be kept, for legal or tax reasons, it moves to long-term storage, still protected, just out of the way. And destruction. When the required retention period ends, the data is securely and permanently destroyed, not just deleted, but rendered unrecoverable. Retention policy drives both. Keep data only as long as you must, then destroy it properly. That forgotten archive nobody purged is exactly the breach waiting to happen from our hook. Data you've destroyed can never be stolen. Now the thing that holds all 6 stages together, data governance. Governance is the framework of policies, roles, and controls over data across its entire life. It answers, who owns this data? A data owner is accountable for it. A data steward manages its quality day to day. What are the rules for its quality, its security, its retention, and who enforces them? Without governance, each stage is a free-for-all, and data quietly rots or leaks. With it, every stage of Jane's data has an owner, a rule, and a control. Governance is how an organization treats data as the asset and the liability that it truly is. For the exam, lock in 3 things. 1. The data lifecycle runs from creation to destruction: definition, capture, storage and maintenance, usage and analytics, archival, and destruction. 2. The guiding principles: collect only what you need, keep it accurate, retain only as long as required, and dispose of it securely. 3. Data governance: ownership, policies, and controls spans the entire life cycle, with data owners accountable and data stewards managing quality. Get those, and you understand data not as a static pile, but as something that moves, changes risk at every stage, and must be governed from birth to death. 60-second recap. The data lifecycle carries data through 6 stages: definition, capture, storage and maintenance, usage and analytics, archival, and destruction. Collect only what you need, keep it accurate, retain it only as long as required, and destroy it securely. And data governance: owners, stewards, policies, and controls wraps around every stage. Now here's your call to action. If this made the data lifecycle finally click, hit that subscribe button so these ISC lessons come straight to you. Give the video a like to help another student find it, and drop a comment telling me the oldest data you think your organization is still hoarding. I read every one. Next, we look at how data actually moves and combines between systems: data extraction, integration, and process documentation. Study hard, and I'll see you in the next one.